Hey guys, what's up? Kyle from Cause 3D, and today we're going to talk about silver paint, silver rub and buff, and the elusive finishes that you try to get on these helmets that you want to get. And we're going to talk about some differences in prep work and some other things, so let's get right to it. Let's first talk about the process. Where do we start? We start with I've done up a bunch of samples here so that you can see how we get to where we get to on the final finished products that you saw up here in the intro. So we start with just our 3D printed part. This is printed really nice. I'm happy with it. But where do we go from there? Well, we take it over to the sander and we hit it. I hit it with a random orbit sander with 240 grit and make sure that I get it nice and smooth down. And then I follow it up with some Mando glazing and spot putty. And as you can see, that's already been applied and sanded back off so that I've got a nice smooth palette to work with. Once I get that done, I do an extra step, which is probably a needless step, but I do it anyway. I hit it with just simple gray primer. The reason I do that is to find out if I have any marks that need to be sanded back down and hit with primer again. Once I get there, I hit it with a flat black primer as well. You can put these two steps together. If you want to just go straight to flat black, you can, but the first priming of the gray actually does help find trouble spots and other imperfections that you may want to get rid of on a big project. Once I hit it with the flat black, I actually follow it up, depending upon what I'm going to be spraying my project with a gloss coat. Not gloss black paint. I hate gloss black paint because it takes forever to cure and it's very fickle and you have to get it on so thick. So I followed it up with a simple gloss coat, which I'll link in the description so that you know what I'm using on that. It is from Montana Paints, and I'm really happy with the results of this. Once I get it to the gloss stage, I'm going to show you a couple different things. I did a flat black and I did a gloss black on this right here. Now this was painted with a Spaz Stix mirror chrome. This does come in airbrush form. Unfortunately, it's not a rattle can. You're going to get most of your better results from not using a rattle can, but there are some good results you can get from a rattle can. But as you can see, the flat does come in with a little bit, I'm going to say not as glossy. The gloss base coat actually does give this a much nicer gloss to it. And I've already got fingerprints all over it, but that's your Spaz Stix spray airbrush paint. And I also use a liquid silver metallic that I found on Amazon. I'm pretty happy with it as well. Now the next sample that I have done is actually a rattle can. This is probably my favorite rattle can spray paint to use on a metallic silver. It's a Rust-Oleum brand that has small paint flecks, metallic flecks in it, and it does give it a really nice metallic look to it, but it still looks like paint. So if you're still going for a true silver, this is silver rub and buff, and it almost has a mirror finish. And silver rub and buff in general is a very difficult medium to work with, but the results on it are fantastic. So let's move over to some other things here. Let me give you some real world applications of these products on some props. Let's start with the spray paint. Now the spray paint, it's good enough. It's got some metal flake in it. It looks good. That's what I put down as a base coat for my Boba Fett helmet. It's got some more paint that's going to go over the top of it. The only thing that's going to show through of the paint, the silver paint, is the scratches that are in it and the battle damage. It's a quick, easy way to lay down a good base coat that you're not focusing specifically on the silver paint in this case, because there's going to be a lot more going on this helmet. But the Spaz Stix airbrush paint comes out at a much thinner It comes out in a much thinner paint. You have less orange peel look to it. It's a lot smoother finish when you're done with it. And the Django blaster and the Mando helmet, and of course the top portion of this thermal detonator were done with a silver Spaz Stix airbrush paint. Now, why would you choose that over the metallic flake spray paint? Because this just has a much smoother look to it. But let's move on to silver rub and buff. Now, silver rub and buff is completely different than paint because it's a wax-based product. Now, I did the bottom of the thermal detonator in the rub and buff, and as you can tell, it's got a great shine to it. And again, it all goes back to your prep work. If your surface is rough, you're going to have a finished product that has some rough spots in it. So you have to take great care to make sure that it's nice and prepped before you start applying the rub and buff. But if you look closely at the rub and buff piece as opposed to even the Spaz Stix piece, I don't know how well it translates to on camera, but this actually looks like a spun aluminum piece. It looks like a piece of actual metal, as where this, when you put them side by side, starts to look again like paint. It looks great on its own, but when you put them together, you do have a pretty big contrast between the two of them. So how do you apply rub and buff? Well, let's move over and give you an example of how you actually do this process. So let's go through the process real quick and apply some rub and buff on camera. Same process I go through on almost any job that I'm doing on finishing a 3D printed part. I'll get the lines out, give it a little bit of Bondo, get it sanded down, get it to a matte black surface, let it cure, give it time, let it cure, and then apply that clear coat, and then we're ready to apply our rub and buff. But it's going to be interesting because there is a couple imperfections in this piece because I kind of did it in haste. And I'm anxious to show you that the scratch that's right here where I dropped the part at some point in this process, it's going to show through. So your part has to be extremely smooth and very well set up. Usually I use gloves. You can use this stuff on your hands. Don't put your hands in your mouth afterwards. But it is heat activated. So I'm going to get some on my finger. A lot goes a long way. A little bit goes a long way in this process. And I'm just going to start coming in and rubbing it on. Now, as I get it rubbed in, I'm going to get a little bit more. And we're just going to keep working it around. As I said, if you get too much, I just got too much in there, and that's fine. We're just going to keep moving it. Heat is your friend in this, friction caused by your fingers. And as you work your way around, you're going to start noticing the more you rub it, the shinier it's actually going to get. And we're trying to get that paste just really smoothed out and really even on our part. Let's keep going. I'm not going to go to the pains that I did on the first one as far as adding a little bit more here and there. I just want to give you the idea of this. So once you get it to where you're almost starting to get back into the black and rub it off, then we're going to stop. And we're going to let that sit for a minute, and then I'm going to clean my hands up real quick, and then we're going to buff it out. I got my hands cleaned up, so this is sat for just 2 minutes, and we're going to come in with a microfiber cloth now, and we're just going to rub it out. And I didn't get this one on as well as my first one because I was in a hurry to do it here on camera, but if you take your time and get it nice and even as you're rubbing it around the project that you're working on, it really does just come out so nice. It works wonders. So once we buffed it up here, I'm not pressing down hard on it. I'm just rubbing it out, not trying to remove any material. But there you have it. It is, let's see if I can get you a little bit of reflection there. But it comes out really good. Now I've done my R2-D2, full-size R2-D2 dome in rub and buff, and it is a lengthy process. when I did something that big, I kind of, in my mind, I broke it up into some quadrants. As you're working around each section and you're starting to overlap sections, it blends in really nicely. But it is a wonderful, wonderful ending to your project. And this stuff, I will put a picture up here in a minute of my R2, and the R2 got rub and buffed probably 3-4 years ago now, and you just rub him down with a microfiber cloth and he's still got a very good finish on him. And he's traveled around to conventions with us for the last 2 years, and people have touched him constantly, but it holds up well. You do not want to clear coat rub and buff because it is a wax base. It just doesn't work. What happens if you do clear coat it? Let's go over to the paint booth and I'll show you what happens. All right, so we're just going to give this a quick clear coat just to see what happens, to show you that you can fail substantially if you do this. I am using a varnish spray on this from Montana Paints. It is nothing special. This is one of my favorite sprays to use. Just going to do a super light mist on it, and you can already see it dulling out. Give it a little bit more, and you have just turned to the cheapest looking silver paint that you could possibly have. And it probably still looks okay on camera, but it looks awful now here in under these lights in the shop. Lo and behold, as we are filming this video, the UPS guy shows up, and he shows up with some graphite powder. Never used graphite powder before, but I thought while we're in the process of doing all this, let's compare what graphite powder looks like against all these other projects that we've done. Now, I didn't read the directions. I've got a piece here prepped that's flat black on one side, gloss black on the other. This might look a lot better over a silver than it does a black. I don't know. I haven't done a ton of research on this stuff yet, but I am just wanting to try it out and see how it comes out. And I'll tell you what, it is looking pretty good. I mean, who knows, maybe a future video will be of us working on this as a different video once I kind of master this medium. But it actually, of course, it's black on black. Let's get that wiped down. But it actually comes out really, really good. It's got a very nice sheen to it. This is not comparable to the silvers per se, obviously, but it does have a great sheen to it. But let's throw some over on this silver piece here. I've got one that was over a this is a Spaz Stix spray. This was done on a flat black. This is done on a gloss black. And let's see, as a bonus here tonight, what that does. Absolutely nothing. It does not stick to it at all, it looks like. It sticks to the fingerprint that I left on there. That's interesting. Well, hey, now you know. Like I said, once we get on into these processes here, I may do a video that covers this graphite powder a lot more than what we're doing tonight, but interesting stuff. So let's wrap this video up. Thanks for joining us today at Cause 3D, and I hope I've illuminated you a little bit on the application of some rub and buff and that versus some paints that we use as well. And it's all in your preference of what you're trying to achieve at the end of your project. But we hope that you liked the video. Please like and subscribe and help us out so we can make more of these. And who knows, we got one coming up now that we're going to do a graphite video on to see what we can do with that. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video.